Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League here from Chicagoland Speedway on the Tabletop Trio Podcast Network. Joining me in the booth, as always, is Joe. I'm Bob. And Joe, this race is going to be a fun one tonight. 100 laps, 150 miles around Chicagoland Speedway in a track that is deceptively difficult.
Yeah, I'm noticing there's not a lot of straights.
Yeah, I mean the straightest part of the racetrack, honestly, is entering and exiting the D-shaped the D-shaped part of the trioval there, because as you notice there on screen, the backstretch not exactly straight. It's a little more curved, and because of that, the drivers are constantly going to have to adjust the steering wheel throughout the race.
Oof. I heard these guys not too thrilled while I was sitting in with them practicing.
That is for sure. It's going to be interesting because passing is going to be at a premium tonight, because the way this track is, historically gone, the low side is usually the best and the fastest way around the track to start the race. And as the race goes on, as the tires get older, you're going to start pushing up the track just a little bit more. And because of that, if someone's running the top line and you're trying to run the bottom, you're really not going to be able to get that momentum to get around the guy on the outside. So it's going to be interesting for sure. As qualifying here underway, 3.5 minutes left to go here. As right now, looks like Danny White puts the fastest time on the board with a 30.17. Let's jump on board here with Danny White just to get an idea of this track. As you can see, the curved backstretch really makes you want to drive up towards that wall. White drives it down deep onto the throttle hard. Good exit. He's going to drop down low. Coming across the line, White goes up with a 30.06. Anthony DeBarro goes on pole now with a 29.65. Tim Johnson, 29.69. And then Cannizzaro with a 29.65. DeBarro looking to pull off. Same with Johnston. Cannizzaro gets in the wall just a little bit. Philip Scott comes across the line, good enough for fourth. Lap times coming in hot and heavy. Here's the 21 and Nick Cohan. Cohan looking like he's on a fairly decent lap. Yellow so far, so not better than his first time around. Yellow means not better. Green means better. Purple means best. So Cohan is going to go P4 with a 29.88. Let's see what lap number 2 shows. A little bit slower that time through. Cohan very sideways coming out of 4.
Yeah, I'm seeing a trend already.
So here's Shane Ewing, Jonathan Gaston. Let's follow Jonathan here as he's running the very top right up against that wall, down the long back straightaway. Tyler Avery in the chat says the track looks stupid quick tonight. Go 77. And that 77 car also looking very stupid quick here. Currently running P3 in a 29.76. If Garrick Gleason was in the broadcast booth with us, he would probably just say the 77 looks stupid and just drop the quick, but we're not Garrett here. The rivalry between Cannizzaro and Gleason is one of my favorite things here in TNR. It's always the running joke. Oh, it's the brotherhood, and not even a joke. It's serious. It's all, a lot of these guys have been racing together for ages, it feels like. And, it's always fun just to kind of give each other a little hard time every now and then.
Of course.
So we got 30 seconds left. Anthony DeBarro still on the point. Here's Ace House driving in. House right now in 9th. with a almost 30 flat.
Nicholas ate that one.
Also in the chat, Cast Iron Kyle says, I know you delinquents sent the ducks. Kyle, I can promise you it was not me.
No, not the first one. There might be more ducks for me, but that's you know.
For those of you who don't know, one day, friend of the program and all-around great guy, Cast Iron Kyle, received a note on... Oh, man!
Oof.
Sliding up in front of the 47 goes Jamar Dumas. Kyle received a note with a rubber duck that just said, the quackening is upon us, or something along those lines.
The quackening is happening.
Ah, yes. And there was no return address, no return label, nothing. And just very, very confused. A lot of confusion in continued. Thought it was one of our other co-hosts here on the Tabletop Trio podcast, and it wasn't. So still trying to find the culprit of who sent Cast Iron Kyle ducks.
One day we'll find out.
But until then, qualifying is over. Drivers jumping out onto the racetrack. Let's take a look here to see if we can get ourselves a good view here.
We got a top cam of the pace car.
Unfortunately, I do not have the ability to select the pace car in my my camera controls here.
Never thought to try.
Right. Let's take a look here at the starting lineup for tonight's race. Total Nonstop Racing 150 here at Chicagoland. On the pole is driver to number 27 machine, Anthony DeBarro. On his outside is the 82 of Tim Johnston. John Cannizzaro Jr. and Nick Cohan round up row number 2. Philip Scott, Jamar Dumas are row 3. Jeff Price, Danny White, row 4. John Daniels and Shane Ewing round out the top 10. Ace House and Toby Ritters in row number 6. Row number 7, that's got Jonathan Gaston and Jacob Bettis. Adam Stewart and Matt Kost in row number 8. And rounding out the field of our 18-car pack will be this number 7 of Garrett Gleason and Jason Schue. I do not believe Gleason will be racing with us tonight, however. So 17 cars in the field. And this is going to be a good one, Joe. A lot of grip, not a whole lot of passing opportunities. Should make for a very, very fun opening few laps.
Yeah, and very, very tight lap window. Really less than a second across the board.
Yeah, exactly. You know, everyone right on top of themselves. The pole time, as we'll pull that one up there, was a 29.651. And Tim Johnston, less than a tenth of a second, half a tenth of a second away from the pole. Cannizzaro, a tenth behind. Cohan, 0.2 behind. Same with Scott, Dumas, Price, White. You know, the top 9 drivers all within 0.2 of a second.
Yeah,
which is just wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
That is for sure. The field getting ready and rolling here through turns 1 and 2. The Great Value Chevy Silverado pace truck leading the field.
Hey, listen, you joke about that all the time, but my Jeep at this speed would be pretty much near its max top speed. So, you know.
Can confirm we've driven down the Mass Pike. So the field making their final preparations, getting themselves ready to do battle here at Chicagoland. $100 laps, 150 miles. Pace truck pulls off. Field in the hands of Anthony DeBarro. He's on the loud pedal. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Chicagoland. Great jump there by DeBarro. He's going to get in front of his teammate Johnston. Nick Cohan pulling up the rear as the top 3 drivers, all Dizzy Motorsports. DeBarro slides up the track, gets real loose in front of Tim Johnston. Johnston's going to have to get back down low, and now we're side by side for the lead into turn 3. Johnston takes a peek down low, can't quite get the nose there, a little bobble as well from him, but Anthony DeBarro is going to lead lap number 1. Cohan following just behind those drivers. There's John Cannizzaro up on the top side. He's got Jeff Price all over his back bumper. So far, so good. All drivers able to keep it green. Cannizzaro got real close to the wall. Doesn't look like he touched it.
Yeah.
But he came awful close.
Well, that's the gist, right? Closer to the wall, faster speed. Just don't bump it.
Yeah, pretty much. If you as close to the edge as you can get without going over. It's like you're playing the old what is it? The mountain climbing game on Price is Right.
Yeah.
As close as you can without going over, and you're good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a little bit further back, here's a little bit of pressure being put on by Jamar Dumas. This is a battle here for 6th. Philip Scott in the 99, the Ninja Phil Designs machine. Recent competitor on American Ninja Warrior, which is very cool.
I love that. It's great to see, you know, you see these guys racing every week, and like I wonder if racing is just their hobby and this and that. And then you hear about things like that, and it's like, oh, these people are, you know, they got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Phil, 28 of Dumas gets sideways. Yeah, I mean, Philip will, he does a lot of the American Ninja Warrior stuff. Jason Schue, who I do not believe is on track yet. No, he's not. Schue races in real life. He races a late model, I believe, at a whole bunch of tracks across Pennsylvania, Maryland, North Carolina, and all that sort of thing. In addition to owning Schue's Landscaping Service, which, or Schue's Lawn Care, rather, which is the title sponsor of the league. So a lot of
Great
guys
shout
having multiple, right? A lot of guys have multiple things on top of racing, and it's always very cool to see that come together and, you know, synergize, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, it's always great to see it bleed in.
Yeah. Right now, though, we got ourselves a pretty good battle here for 3rd. Cannizzaro putting a little bit of pressure on the 21 of Nick Cohan. Cohan in that black and white unsponsored 21 machine right there. Cannizzaro in the 77 Dodge right there on the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Dodge. Jimbo and his crew put on one heck of a podcast, just talking sports. Big Philly sports fan is Jimbo. Cannizzaro gets a little bit sideways.
So I'm noticing, I guess it would be turn 2. Exiting, it seems to be where their backs, I guess, is getting on the gas. I wonder if that's going to be the spot that is the first yellow.
It very well could be. Let's take a look here at the blimp just to get a good overview of what Joe's talking about. You see the 39 slides up, the 99 there too, getting real close to the wall. And typically coming across that exit, more so out of 2, but out of 4 as well, you see the seams. You can see kind of where the track was paved in strips. Coming across that, there's not a whole lot of grip on that tar that, you know, joins the patches. So because of that, if you're turned at the wrong angle, you have your tire on it in the wrong place, it very easily could snap you around, especially on old tires.
Yeah, see that, Scott, it just happened to him. You step on the gas exiting, and the back of the car just a little bit, just teeny little kick.
Yeah, and it also doesn't exactly help to have 750 plus horsepower going to the rear wheels.
No, that's not helping.
So a little bit further back in the pack, we've got a decent battle brewing here between Adam Stewart and the 63 of Max Cost. Cost just got around Stewart. Let's take a look at that pass here real quick. Stewart running the bottom, Cost up top. And just that's one of those things where you see that a lot, where the top side isn't always the fastest, but you're going to carry way more momentum around the top than you are on the bottom. But I think Adam's doing a good job just kind of keeping pace, making sure his car is set, making sure, he knows what he's, just trying to get a feel of the car. Him and I were chatting a little bit ago. He said, basically he was saying that he is still new to oval racing. And whenever people say, oh, well, you just got to get the feel of the car, how does the car feel to you? He's still learning the feel of the car. So there's a lot of, okay, how does this happen? Why does this happen? Why am I doing this? How are they able to do this while when I try that, I'm, backwards, sideways in the wall? How does that work?
How are you in my head? It's me every time I race. I did it just like that guy. How come he's pulling away?
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's all about, learning the feel of the car, taking a listen. How do the tires sound? What are the tires doing? And, it can definitely be... it can be a challenge just to learn these cars. And with TNR, we change cars pretty much every single season. The beginning of 2024 for the A season, it was trucks. Now we're in the Gen 4. I would only assume we're going to be changing cars again for the beginning of next season as well. So, that makes it difficult too to really hone in on a car. Unless you've driven them all before and you're just kind of looking for something else to run.
I vote something crazy. You guys should do like the cigar cars or something.
Oh, the old Lotus 49s. Yeah. That is horrifying. Absolutely
really
terrifying to run. Because those things do not like to do anything but go straight and do it fast.
Yes.
Downforce is a 4-letter word to them. Get a great shot of the exit of turn 4 there.
Surprised the flag guy is standing. he's got a while.
Yeah, you can probably take a little break here. But we're 17 laps into it, and DeBarro has yet to be able to drive away from the 82 of Johnston. Johnston right on the back bumper of DeBarro, trying to get something working.
Now, how are we looking here? Because, like we said, this track doesn't really have any straights. How is tire management in this track?
I think, we see the 82 get a little sideways just as he crosses that seam. I think as long as you're not pushing too hard, not driving into the corner too deep, the right front tire, it's gonna be a pain to drive in a few laps. If you're doing everything right and you're using a little more right rear like these cars tend to like, honestly, it could be the right rear that has issues. But a little bit of trouble out on the racetrack. Toby Ritters has a problem. As I don't know if the car slid sideways or what happened.
I think he just, like we were talking about, I think he just kicked out, but I wonder if he's having other issues, maybe connection issues or...
That is certainly interesting. So we'll mark Ritters down on pit road. But meanwhile, look at this battle. We've got a three-way battle here for second, as Johnston, Cannizzaro, and Cohan all taking it to each other. As here's Cannizzaro, who's going to jump on top of it. Cohan glued to the back bumper of Cannizzaro. And you can listen to Cohan's really just feathering the throttle into turn 3. Let's take a listen to the engine here as he dives off into turn 1.
Cannizzaro and Johnston just tapped the wall.
It's so easy to do here, especially on the top side.
Yeah.
Because you're right up against the wall. You don't have as much of a margin for error.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're also trying to push it now. They're vying for position here.
Yeah, here's Cohan taking a peek. Can't quite do anything with it there. And watch the back end of Cannizzaro. Through the corner, you're going to see him kind of kick the rear out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right there, and that's going to help him get some drive off. And it puts a lot of the pressure on the rear wheels, saves the right front, so it helps you get through the corner better. It's actually going to loosen your car up down across the run, too. So you kind of have a little more to do with the car.
I can't even begin to understand how that works. You just feather the gas to give it a little bit more, or?
Basically, you kind of have to have a controlled slide, or, force your car to break traction a little bit more than you necessarily want it to, and then just keep it in a controlled drift without really pushing too hard.
Huh.
The downside to it is it's very difficult. If you get it wrong, you're sideways, backwards, and into the wall.
Yeah, that checks out.
And, it really can hurt the rears. So if you have a long green flag run like this, you're not going to get a whole lot of drive off the corner.
Ooh.
Cohan right up against the wall as well.
Ooh. Shane Ewing, big, and John Daniels. I saw them. They were getting close to each other, and they ended up kissing.
Oh! Hard lick.
Well, that went from maybe pittable to I don't know if that's going anywhere. That was... Stewart might have gotten...
Yeah, Adam Stewart's car absolutely demolished.
Oof.
That is a hard, tough break. Let's take a look at that one on the Tabletop Trio instant replay.
Oof. I thought it was just the two of them, and then I guess there was nowhere for him to go.
So you see here, the yellow is out already.
Yeah. Goes to turn around.
Right there, comes across the track. I don't think Adam was expecting the O2 to come down. I don't think the O2 is expecting Adam to come flying through like that.
Yeah.
As we'll take one more quick look here, so our broadcast can, actually see what happened. So there's the O2 sliding across the track. Oh,
Oof.
Hard, heavy impact.
That's a tough break.
Let's take a quick look here to see
the initial
what initially happened.
That's a rough.
So here's the O2 and the 32. Oh, they just came together.
Yeah, they were wiggling back and forth for about half a lap, and then I guess going into the turn, they finally just contact, and then that was it. Oh, he has front damage. He thought he was going to be out of the way.
Oh, wow. And look at the left rear. Let's see if we can get a chase drone up there. look at the left rear
Yeah.
of the
So
O2.
I
That
think
is
he had
pointing in the right
damage.
direction.
Yeah, he had damage when he tried to spin out and get back into the pits, and I think that's what caught him. He got stuck, and Stewart just drilled the car. That's unfortunate. That's wrong place, wrong time.
That is for sure. And that took out some very good drivers in Daniels, Ewing, and Stewart.
Yeah, I wonder if all three of them are out, or if it's just going to be a little bit of damage.
Let's see. It looks like Stewart still on the racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
Ewing is back out
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
not a whole lot of damage, just a little damage on the right side and the right front.
Yeah, I think he touched the wall a few times, but he didn't take a ton of damage.
Looks like Daniels is there too. I do want to see if we can get the driver's eye camera set up, because we'll see if that wheel is. Oh
yeah. As we
Yeah.
saw him coming back into the pit. Yeah, look how tilted it is to try to go straight.
Yeah, he's trying to keep the car going in a straight line. He's got the car there. You see that orange tape? That should be centered.
Yeah. The fact that when he brings it center is a hard turn to the. That might be his end race.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an early night for the 0-2 machine. A very tough break, and unfortunate to say the least.
Yeah, that big hit probably just threw the entire car out of the alignment. Like, the taps probably were going to be okay, but I don't think he's going to be able to make that back.
For sure. And everyone did come down on pit road. The only real changes, as we see Cohan, Cannizzaro swap spots, Price and Dumas swap spots as well. So those guys on 26 lap were on 26 lap tires. But now on freshies as we're getting ready to go back to green. 70 laps to go here at Chicagoland.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Gaston coming down, just topping off with fuel, giving him maybe an extra lap or so for that.
So I guess we didn't have to figure out when the first actual pit is going to be. So still questionable on how long they were going to run.
Yeah, I would venture to say they were probably thinking about coming down around lap 35 if they were able to make it that far, because figure 35, do another 35, that's 70, and then have a 30 lap run to the finish.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting as this one goes forward. But that being said, pace truck is off. Green flag back in the air here at Chicagoland as DeBarro gets a great jump there on the outside this time. He's got both of his teammates running pressure behind. Johnston to the bottom. Cohan there in third. Johnston clips the apron a little bit. He's going to slide up the track. Now they're side by side for the lead. Johnston to the inside, DeBarro to the outside. Tough break for Adam Stewart. He says in the chat he's out.
That's a real tough break.
Out front, we've got ourselves a great battle here, and Cannizzaro says, excuse me, pardon me, I'm gonna jump in on this one too, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
As Dizzy Motorsports 1, 2, 3 putting on a show in front of these fans. DeBarro on the top side. Johnston slips back just a little bit. That might open the door for Cohan. We'll see if Cohan stays high or if he's going to try to dive it down low underneath the 82. He does, and he will get the spot as he slides up close to the wall. Adam him saying John thought everyone had gone by, so he turned down the track.
Mm.
And that's just one of those, one of those deals that is incredibly unfortunate, but happens for sure.
Yeah. Unlike us viewers who have TrackMax and the little track map to see the car, the racers do not get that kind of...
Yeah, no, they do not. Trouble on the racetrack. Looks like Shane Ewing involved in another incident.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Nothing popped up on my screen.
Looked like him and the 47 might have gotten together. As here's Ewing. Yep, just across. Clips the 44, backs it down. Oh! Gaston in there too. A hard lick. Little bit of a yard sale there on the front straightaway.
Yeah. So that's what we were referring to with when you get a little too slidey. That's what happens.
Yes. Getting word that DeBarro had crashed, but I think he just stopped on the track to let the pace car by.
Yeah.
In fact, that is exactly what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
But let's take one more look here at the incident with Ewing. We'll jump on board here. Yep, just a little too sideways, cold tires into the wall.
He probably would have been fine if he didn't get sideswiped.
Yeah.
Like the slide, he probably would have recovered and it would have been fine, but he lost too much speed and they flew by, and that's all it takes.
Let's take a look here from the 47's POV and see exactly what happened to him, because he's got some heavy right front damage from that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, just came sliding through the 72 in there hard, and whoa, the 24 really threading the needle there. Let's get one more look at this one from the roof of the 24.
Yeah, it's like it's happening so fast. Where do you go? It's not a very big racetrack. There's not like 5 lanes.
Yeah, so we'll throw it in quarter speed here as the incident is happening. And as a driver, this is the most nerve-wracking because you see the car spinning, you say hi, okay, and then right here, let's pause it. Right here is the option. You see the 47 up against the wall. You see the 72 sliding up. Mm-hmm. And you think, okay, the 47's in the wall. He's probably going to stay there. 72 is sliding, but the way he's sliding, momentum's going to want to carry him up towards the banking. So maybe you want to try to aim for the white line, like just drive straight.
Yeah.
And that's basically what he does. But the 47 comes down as the 72 comes up.
Nice little...
Very tough.
Yeah. That's pant changing close.
Yep, and I think that's why the 24 is coming down. He's definitely going to need a new fire suit after that one. Hopefully he wore his brown fire suit tonight. Shane Ewing on pit road. Yeah, and if you see there's the 47 of Ace House.
With no tire.
With the right front completely gone and shorn off of the number 47 machine. Meanwhile, out front, let's see if any leaders decide to come back down pit road. I highly doubt they will.
Right.
Just because they were only on pit road 6 laps ago. So after all of that, comes down to 12 cars on the lead lap. Shane Ewing is a lap down. So should we get another yellow, Ewing would be the lucky dog.
Yeah. Assuming he's even really in this race, I wonder if his wheel is slightly cocked at this point. He took a big hit.
He really did. Let's take a look, because he's got a lot of front end damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some wheel damage. You see the wheel kind of cocked to the right as he's turning left. Not even the jittering, but if you see the orange line, that should be right at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And he's at 12 o'clock now, and he's getting around the corner just fine.
Yeah, you know, when you think about it, and you're like, oh, he's not that far off, and then you realize that to turn, he just put it straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is in for a very long night, both between him and the O2 of Daniels. And the tough part about that is, you know, you get someone up on your bumper, you kind of forget about the damage that you have, and because of that, you're more apt to spinning.
Yeah.
But we're back green here. Dizzy Motorsports leads the field into turn one. Philip Scott gets around the 77 of Cannizzaro. As here's Johnson. Johnson does get a run. Still not able to fully clear DeBarro. Can he do it now? He does. Or does he? As DeBarro has a big head of momentum coming down across the start-finish line. Big battle brewing here for the lead. Cohan and Johnston side by side. Here's Cannizzaro. He gets around Philip Scott.
And he's like, hey, guys, what you doing?
Here, wait for me. I'll be right there. Let's have a party. Two's company, but three's a crowd. Let's go. It is always fun to see those, those flyby cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And you can really hear when they're not on the gas versus when they are on the gas.
Yeah, it's night and day.
As DeBarro just runs his best lap of the race and the fastest lap of the race that time by with a 29.81.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a lot of wiggle room. Nicholas is hot on his tail.
That is for sure. There's Cohan. That's the gap. 0.2 of a second separating DeBarro and Cohan. Tim Johnson falls back to third. Cannizzaro close to the wall. You know, there's something just satisfying about hearing all those cars just fly by the camera.
Yeah. I watched a video yesterday of a little kid out in the bleachers as the cars flew by, and he looked like a kite.
Those are always funny, watching people, oh, my first ever NASCAR race. And then they usually have that friend's like, oh, hey, why don't you go stand by the fence real quick?
Mm-hmm. Stand on the bleachers right on the little flat part, right where they come out over there. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Oh, wear your hat, but put your arms up. You don't need to hold on to your hat. You're fine.
Yeah. Hope you don't like that hat.
Cannizzaro putting some pressure there on the 82. He's going to drive down to the inside. Can't quite get the run going. '77 looks high. There's door handle to door handle. And Cannizzaro gets up on Johnston.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Cohan did take one.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one. Let's see how it was done. So Cohan to the top. There's DeBarro down low. And the outside is just a little bit stronger at this point in the race, where Cohan just says, yep, I'll take that. Thank you very much. Back to live action now as Cohan is opening up a 3/10, almost 4/10 of a second lead over DeBarro.
Yeah, I think he realized, he's like, oh, I actually like this line. And DeBarro goes, you know what, you might be onto something.
Aha. Touche.
Yeah, for a while there, DeBarro was sitting on the inside trying to, and now I see them both just hugging the outside line.
Yeah, I think the outside is gotten to that point now where everyone is basically, they know where they are, they know where they need to go. And now it's just going to be a matter of, all right, I know I can't get around the guy in front of him, or in front of me. Let's just hope he makes a little mistake, drives in a little too deep, grabs the wall. You know, the old iRacing wall glue is out there and he gets stuck into it, and maybe I'll be able to get around him that way. Or you could sit there and say, all right, well, I know you're going in the corner. Maybe why don't I just help you get in the corner just a little bit, give a little tap.
Yeah. Now Cohan seems like he's changing up his. It must be for tire. It's got to be for tire savings.
It has to be at this point in the run. If you think, if you figure maybe they're going to do another 35 laps on this run, they pit it on lap 30. Figure lap 65, rounding wise, is where they would have to come down pit road next. You still have another 15, 20 laps to go on this set, so maybe you're going to want to run down low, save the tires a little more.
Yeah.
But if you're getting pressure like you are Cohan right now and DeBarro, maybe that tire saving isn't exactly going to play too well with you.
Yeah.
So there is Cohan. Just having himself a good, quiet race. Started fourth, currently running in first. Driver out of Nazareth, Pennsylvania, home of the Andrettis. So a little racing lineage out there. Some racing talent in the water in Nazareth. Anthony DeBarro here in second. Oh, Cohan grabs the wall. So we'll move DeBarro back up to first. And Cohan's going to be falling quick.
Yeah.
Just like I had said, Joe, if you're running second, you just say, all right, hopefully this guy grabs the wall. No, the 82 and Johnston in the wall.
Both of them are in the wall. Oh boy.
Again!
I wonder, did he lose a tire?
I don't think he lost the tire. I think that's just a matter of the iRacing wall glue just getting him stuck, and he tried to get it off. But when he got off, he got too far off the wall, almost came down in front of his teammate, so you had the choice to either wreck your teammate or, unfortunately, go back into the wall, and he chose going through the wall. It never fails. Whenever we try to do one of those through the field segments where we talk about every single driver, something happens.
Of course.
So we've got ourselves a good battle here. Cost trying to catch up to Jamar Dumas. Cost looks low. He's going to ride right in the tire tracks of that number 28 machine. But, Joe, I think it's finally time we do eventually try to go through the field.
Should we count to 3 or...
give me a 10-second lead here. But Anthony DeBarro right now, about almost a second lead over Cannizzaro. Yeah. Led the majority of the race, started on pole as well. Here's Cannizzaro, started third, currently running in second place. Had a great battle earlier between both the 21 of Cohan and Tim Johnston. But because of Cohan and Johnson both getting in the wall, Cannizzaro moves up to second. Putting some pressure on him here is the 21 of Nick Cohan. Cohan started in fourth. Ninja Phil, we already talked about him a little bit in tonight's race. Started fifth, currently running P4. As we see Phil there in that white and blue Ninja Phil Designs machine. Tim Johnston currently running in fifth place. Jamar Dumas in sixth here. Max Cost in seventh. Cost having himself a good run so far. Up 9 spots since the start of the green flag. Koss started shotgun on the field, already running up in 7th. There's Jeff Price. He started 7th, running right now in 8th place. Danny White might have gotten a tiny piece of the second caution when Shane Ewing got sideways coming out of 4, but his car looks pretty good so far. Jonathan Gaston with a little bit of damage on his car after catching an incident with the 32 of Shane Ewing. Here's Jacob Bettis. Looks like he has some scarring there on the right-hand side after might have been getting into the wall just a tiny bit. As we see the 24 machine driving by right there. And the last car on the lead lap right now is the 02 of John Daniels with a very heavily damaged race car. After getting into the wall and having some contact with the 4 of Adam Stewart, as we see him very sideways coming off of turn 2. Let's follow him here through turn 4 because he got real sideways out of 2.
To say it. You just had to say it.
You know, that's one of those things where I saw it happening and I just knew that was going to happen. As here comes the field. This is where it gets scary if I'm the 02. Because I know how sideways my car gets. John Canizaro's in the wall as well. Here's the 02. Yeah. He's able to keep it under control this time. As Canizaro falls back, and now the 02 up towards the top side.
Yeah, and that wiggle.
Oh, man, this is nerve-wracking. This is tense.
Yeah, he's like, I could just let you pass, but I'm try to stick around.
I don't even think it's the fact that he's trying to stick around. I just think the car is so hard to control. It's wrecking every time the car doesn't want to go straight.
Yeah. Well, I have to imagine you're trying to drive this car. You're used to you laid down all the practice laps. You laid down all your regular laps. You know how the car drives. You get hit. Now everything is thrown off by 10 to 15 degrees to the right, and now you have to relearn how to drive a car while doing 100 and change.
Yeah, I mean, right now look at how much Daniels has to have the wheel cocked to the right. So the wheel right now is probably about 1, maybe even 130 on the clock.
Yeah. Like for you at home, if you turned your car steering wheel that far while driving, you will run into something almost immediately.
Joe knows from experience. And yeah, I mean, look at just how difficult and how much he has to fight to keep the car going in the right direction.
Yeah, when he turns right to straighten out the car, he's at like, was that 45 degrees?
Oh, at least.
Or is that a good 90? Is that where he's at? Yeah, 90.
Yes. Oh, man, he slides up the track yet again. I do have to say, there's a good battle brewing right now for third. As we've got the 82 of Johnston, Canizaro, Nick Cohan, all three of them fit under a blanket. As Canizaro tries to get the nose underneath the 21, he's going to back off. Now he's going to take a peek to the inside. He slides up the track, contact.
Ooh.
And Canizaro is going to fall back a little more.
Yeah, I was going to say, these guys in the front have been pushing hard. What has it been, about 30 laps at this point? That's a lot on the tires.
Yeah, let's take a look at this one again on the replay as we'll jump on board with Canizaro. As we see here, there's the 21 of Cohan just in front. So he takes a look. And just contact right there. But Joe, let's go back to live action. There's pit stops occurring. Dizzy Motorsports plus Jamar Dumas head down pit road.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Like we were, I mean, I literally just said it. These guys have gone about 30 laps, 35 laps, and it kind of looks like it shows these guys can't really. They're trying to be competitive and they're sliding around.
As we see the crews getting to work here on these machines, the 27 to Navarro is down and away, as is Cohan. There's Johnston as well. Dumas down there. Canizaro and Gaston both on pit road as well. Yeah, Joe, you were absolutely right. Just around that 35 lap mark. Here they are, lap 66. Still one more pit stop to go, but very, very important for these drivers.
Mm-hmm.
As we see Gaston there a little bit further down, he's down and away.
Yeah. So at this point, I believe this should be, barring a yellow, the last pit we'll see.
I believe you are correct, yes. As here comes Philip Scott heading down pit road. Let's see if Price comes down as well, or if Jeff Price stays out. Price stays out. Cost behind him comes down. So right now, looks like only 3 drivers have yet to pit. There goes Daniels coming down as well.
Yeah.
So Price, White, and Bettis, the 3 drivers who have yet to make a pit stop so far.
Yeah.
Let's see what Price does here. He's going to stay out, as will White.
Oh, so he gets the lap.
Yeah, you get the bonus points there for leading the lap. There's Philip Scott coming out. So once everyone does pit, the lead is going to circulate back to the hands of Anthony DeBarro. There is DeBarro just behind Price. Jump on the gearbox. We see Cohan there as well. And Joe, we've seen yellows come at the right and wrong time for drivers, really make the difference. We saw last week with the Speed Xfinity Series, a strange caution comes out, and the guy who was leading most of the race winds up crashing. And that gives it to Stan Hausman, who got the win. Our own Jason Schue came in second. So, I mean, right now, this is a very crucial time.
I kind of think that's Price's plan, as Bettis does pit. But I kind of think that's what Price is going for. If I stay out maybe 2 or 3 more laps, I'll have the freshest set of tires. As here he goes.
Well, that's going to relinquish the lead over to Danny White. So there's White now. And White last pit. Let's take a look here at the pit stop timing. Both White and Price came down during the last yellow on lap 34.
Yeah.
They wound up getting a little extra fuel, so they do have more fuel in the tank than when some of the other drivers came down.
Yeah, they had about 6 laps on them.
But I think at this point, I would be a little surprised if the 44 doesn't come down a little bit later. Or, within the next couple of laps. He's going to go high here to let the 77 go. But I would expect to see the virtual hand out the 44's window within the next lap or so.
Yeah, like I said, I thought that was the plan that both of them were going to do, but I really think that's what they're going for. Is, all right, I'm going to come down on the pit. I now have the freshest tires. If we get a yellow, I'm forcing everyone else to not pit.
Yeah. And that's a fantastic strategy, too, as he had almost a lap on the entire field. DeBarro is 24 seconds in closing.
Yeah.
I think this is a good move for White. I mean, he's going to come out probably 8th, 9th, something along those lines. as DeBarro and Cohan do get around him, he's going to be in a good position. I know there's only 9 cars on the lead lap, but he's still on the lead lap. He saves from going a lap down. And, should a yellow come out, he can pit with the leaders and, keep his position and have himself a good run to the checkered should something happen.
Yeah.
But Joe, after all of that, 75 laps of racing, only 2 yellows, green flag pit stops. This is the battle for the lead.
Yeah. Right back at it.
Absolutely wild. It's like they said, all right, hold on, let's take a break. All right, you ready? I'm ready. All right, let's go to it. Let's fight again.
Yep. But Scott, right back in third. Snuck up again.
Yeah, only 0.2 of a second. And if we're looking at this battle, let's set this one to Nick Cohan. Let's take a look at Philip Scott behind. Scott is closing. Green means Scott is faster. If we were to see orange, that means Scott is slower. Last time by 0.4 of a second. That gap has now shrunk to 1.9 seconds.
Yeah.
And now that Cohan is fighting with DeBarro, we should expect to see more green this time through. Oh, they're side by side, almost a little touch. So between DeBarro and Scott, DeBarro, who's now in second place, 0.4 of a second slower than Philip Scott.
And moving quick.
Yeah, let's jump on the back bumper. There's Philip Scott in the distance, that white speck on your screen growing closer and closer every second of the way.
Yeah, we started talking about this. He was 2.1 seconds behind. He's now 1.4 seconds behind. We are going to have a race for all 3 of these positions if nothing else changes in the next 22-ish laps.
And Joe, we were talking to Philip last week after his podium finish at Kentucky, or 2 weeks ago rather. He said, guys, I have never won at a 1.5 mile racetrack here in TNR. If he can make this stick and keep this pace up, and he is keeping the pace for right now, he's going to challenge for the lead and very well could fight some of the best drivers in TNR for a win at a 1.5 mile track, which has been Philip's goal since he started racing with us a few years back. Ninja Phil has closed the gap, less than a second between him and leader Nick Cohan. DeBarro is there as well. Looks like Jeff Price has taken his car behind the wall. Not seeing anything on the incident tracker that I have here.
Yeah.
And there's Scott. Philip Scott takes a peek down low. They're side by side. DeBarro has the preferred line. The lap car of John Daniels does get down out of the way. So now we'll move Philip Scott up to second for now.
Yeah. Yeah, DeBarro does not want to give it away that easy.
Not at all. DeBarro goes down to try to make Philip Scott squirm. The Ninja staying calm, cool, and collected. Cohan in the wall. 3 wide for the lead. Here comes DeBarro on the outside.
That's not the first time that Cohan has tapped that wall and lost position.
No, and it's such a momentum killer as well. As you're really kind of on the top side, that's your bread and butter. That is your momentum, is your currency.
Yeah.
And when you tap it, you go bankrupt. As here comes the 99 to Scott once again. Philip Scott to the inside. Can't quite close the deal.
They are literally neck and neck. If that race finished, I don't know who would have won. They were 0 seconds apart from each other, 0.00.
Some incredible battles going on right now. What a great fight for the lead. They're still door handle to door handle down the back straightaway.
Oh no!
Oh, they touch! Scott sideways somehow saves it.
A recovery, but it's a drop.
That is going to heat up the tires, and that could open the door for Tim Johnson to catch them.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that one more time here on the replay. As here they are side by side. Little touch right there. Somehow Scott was able to keep it going in the right direction. Didn't make too much contact, so no damage. Wow.
Great recovery.
And here he goes again, putting the pressure on the 21 of Cohan.
Oh, we got yellow?
Oh, trouble out on the racetrack.
I don't know where it popped up from.
Let's see here. Looks like it's Daniels. Daniels sideways, hits the apron, goes off, and that very well could be the yellow. But let's take one more quick look at this.
I did see...
Let's take a quick look here. As I'm just searching right now to see where, at what moment the yellow flag came out.
That's really interesting. And now we have...
Yeah, it looks like it was just for Daniels down on pit road. Or down on the inside.
So now everyone is pitting. So now here's the question. Let's see if I am correct. So yeah, Bettis stayed out.
Wow. Look at that. Look who won the race off of pit road. That's the 72 of Jonathan Gaston.
Wow. I wonder if he skipped tires or something. Or gas.
Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the pit stop time. Of course, it's not showing up quite yet. But if I were a betting man, I would say both Jonathan Gaston and Danny White took 2 tires that time.
Yeah, just 2 tires, no gas, or do you think they fill up?
They probably took as much gas as they could. But if you fill up the car, it's going to be a little looser, which makes it a little easier to handle.
I was going to say, what are the benefit of gas when you know the race is going to be over in, 15 laps or now?
Yeah,
12.
I mean, that's one of those things where they had enough fuel to make it the rest of the way regardless. It's all about weight. If you think about when you're filling up, when you're towing a trailer. You always want more weight at the front instead of the back just to make it more balanced. Whereas if you have all the weight in the back end wants to swing around, rapidly, and you get that, you get that death wobble almost. That's the same kind of concept there, where you put a little more weight in the back end. That's going to make the car a little looser, and it'll help you turn a little bit better. But 2 tires, your car is going to want to be sideways as well. So this was a very, very ballsy move by both the 72 and the 44. High risk, but also high reward.
Yeah.
Even though our scoring pylon thinks Jonathan Gaston is still on pit road, I can confirm he is not.
Yeah, the green and white car would signal that he is indeed not on pit.
Yeah. So it looks like Gaston is going to take the inside. Danny White on the outside. And right now, if I'm someone like Jamar Dumas, I'm starting a little bit further back in the pack.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sitting there, I'm saying, all right, if I don't have anyone behind me, maybe I'm going to lay off maybe half a car length. Because right now, let's take a look here at Dumas. If I'm sitting back there, I know the top two guys, they just took their they just took their two tires. Mm-hmm. They're going to be sideways. Cold tires on a restart are tough. Cold tire on a restart is even tougher. So Dumas might be sitting back saying, all right, they might spin the tires. They might take out the entire field. I just have to keep my head on a swivel and be prepared. So let's see what happens here. Pace truck makes the hard left-hand turn down onto pit road. Gaston and White. Gaston on the loud pedal early. Green flag in the air. 10 laps remaining. 3 wide for third. Gaston leads the field. DeBarro takes a peek down low. He's going to get to the inside of Gaston. Gaston slides up. Cohan is there. Cohan gets wobbly. Here comes White to the outside. Philip Scott there as well alongside the 82 of Tim Johnston. DeBarro starts to pull away. Here comes White. Philip Scott down low. They're still packed together. Tyler Avery in the chat says, taking bets on how many of the top 10 end up wadded up in a heap before this is over.
It's possible. They're all very close and tight to each other right now.
3 wide. Here comes Cannizzaro to the inside. Gaston falls back ever so slightly. Johnston up top. They're still 3 wide. This time Gaston falling back just a little bit more. Meanwhile, out front, White sideways in the wall. 72 in the wall. They're all keeping straight.
There.
This is the battle for the lead between DeBarro and Cohan. Cohan drives down low. He's going to slide up the racetrack. Here comes DeBarro to the inside. Slide job.
And just going back and forth and back and forth.
Now it's DeBarro's turn. DeBarro gets in front of Cohan. Cohan not quite able to make the slide work. Here comes Cohan now. Cohan takes the inside. Here comes Tim Johnston. Johnston thinks about taking a move to the inside. He does. Right onto the quarter panel. DeBarro's sideways. Cohan sees his teammates fighting in his rearview mirror and says, I'm getting out of here. Cannizaro's trying to get into the mix as well. Same with White and Philip Scott. DeBarro is there. Johnston can't quite clear him. Now Johnston should be able to clear as he'll slide up the track. White out of shape. He's going to fall back some more.
Oh, it's going to be a wild finish.
Johnston stays in front of DeBarro. Gap closing to 0.3 of a second. But here comes John Cannizzaro. Cannizzaro slides up the track. Contact between him and DeBarro. 3 to go.
I'm surprised that didn't go worse.
Here comes DeBarro again. Cannizzaro there. Nick Cohan. Oh, Philip Scott into the wall. Drivers giving it everything they can and more with 2 laps remaining. Nick Cohan up front. He's got 0.4 of a second just about over his teammate Tim Johnston. White flag one more time around. DeBarro takes a look to the inside. Can Johnston catch Cohan? Cohan plays defensively. He's going to take the inside. Johnston going to have a little bit more momentum, but 0.4 of a second to go. Can he make it here in 3 and 4? One final time. Nick Cohan down low. He's going to power it off. Sees the checkered flag in the air. Nick Cohan is going to win at Chicagoland.
What a finish.
Somehow, they all kept it straight.
Yeah, wild.
What a win by Nick Cohan. Tim Johnston comes home second. John Cannizzaro comes home third. Anthony DeBarro just barely misses out on the podium. Philip Scott comes home fifth. Danny White sixth with a great run. After taking that two-tire gamble. Gaston in seventh. Max Coast in eighth. Jamar Dumas comes home ninth. And let's take a look here at that number 21 machine as he's getting ready to burn it down here in Chicagoland. What a finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Let's see if we can start grabbing some of our podium finishers here into the waiting room. As Cohan finishes it up. As soon as I'm able to get, some of this working. And Joe, I believe you've caught up with our third place finisher, John Cannizzaro Jr.
Hey, John, congratulations on the podium finish. What a crazy race. We noticed that we were following you throughout the race. You were, second, third, fourth, tap a wall, drive back to the seventh. How did you kind of handle maintaining speed and setting up passes?
Quite frankly, it was a lot of luck. there was just so much speed on the outside, and being a dirt guy, I felt that if that thing was sideways, I was gonna keep my foot in it, and it ended up getting me in the outside wall a few times. But just I don't know what happened at the end there. It was everybody for everything, and I'm sure DeBarro's a little upset with me. He's got all right to be, but it's racing. And the bottom just didn't stick, and I slid up in front of him, and it is what it is to me. I'm sure he's got a different story, but other than that, that was the most fun I've ever had in a race car on iRacing.
It was a crazy race. Did you feel like tire wear kind of played, or did the yellows kind of came at a perfect time for you?
At the beginning, I thought I had a great long run car. The first run, I kind of killed it a little bit. I overdrove it a lot, and then I just kept finding the outside wall over and over again. And the second run, I did the exact same thing. I was, got up front, and I felt like I could have challenged DeBarro fairly, and then I just proceeded to throw it in the outside wall. So without that last second caution, I easily probably finished in like seventh. So I think the caution had a lot to play with that.
Well, it ends up working out for you. You have any shout outs for us?
I gotta thank my buddy Tyler. He does all my crew chiefing for me. He made the beautiful car that I seem to wreck every week at this point. That right side's not coming back. So, Garrett, everybody in TNR that puts the league on. You guys for broadcasting. My father, I'm sure he's watching somewhere. I keep forgetting to send him to the broadcast, but it's fine. He'll find it on his own. And just everybody else in the league. It's a great league to race in, and well, maybe besides DeBarro, I'm sure he's a little upset with me right now, as I said before. But everybody races clean. It's always fun here, so can't ask for much more.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
All right, that was John Canizar, our second place finisher here at Chicagoland Speedway, now joined by our second place finisher, driver of the number 82 machine, Tim Johnston. And well, Tim, it was a wild last 10 laps. Talk me through what you saw there at the end.
Honestly, I thought it was a great job by everybody up there. Nobody got into each other. We were all giving each other just enough space. We knew it was going to be a pretty wild finish. The 72 and the 44, I believe, took 2 tires. I think you had guys that were filling up with fuel, guys that weren't, guys on 4. So it was definitely going to be a lot of different strategies at the front for the last 10 laps. And I think it was a great job by everybody that was up there.
And, we noticed a lot where once a run got going, everyone kind of migrated to the top side, made things a little more difficult to pass. We saw that a few times where, even you had gotten up to one of your teammates, they're running up top, you try to take a peek down low, couldn't quite get it done. Talk me through that mindset that you're going through when you're like, all right, maybe I should back it down. I'm right there. I know I'm faster, but I can't get that pass done.
Yes, pretty much. You just hang out and you're almost honestly kind of waiting for them to make a mistake. Because once the top lane came in, I think Philip, he was able to save his tires and was blowing our doors off on the bottom. So he had the bottom lane figured out. But for the rest of us, is pretty much top lane is where we wanted to be, and running low is just really hard to pass.
That is for sure. And, talking about passing, next week, taking a quick trip up to Watkins Glen, the road course. What are your thoughts there going road course racing again?
Hopefully there's no barrels for me to hit like I did did out west. So just try to kind of keep it on the track and have a good run. I haven't really raced around these guys a lot, but I know if DeBarro shows up, he's going to be tough. That's his favorite racetrack.
Fair enough. Well, Tim, congrats there on the second place finish. Before we let you go, let's hear some shout outs.
Just thanks for my teammates. I always, been a part of Dizzy for a long time now. It's always a blast hanging out with those guys. Everybody in tonight that was up front in the race. I mean, that was just some really hard-nosed racing with what seemed like quite a bit of respect up front. All the guys that put the show on at TNR, you guys for the phenomenal broadcasts every week, and all the fans that tune in to watch us come out here and have a little bit of fun.
Awesome. Well, Tim, congrats there again on the second place finish. Looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Watkins Glen.
Thanks, guys. Yep, definitely see you next week.
All right, that is Tim Johnson, our second place finisher here at Chicagoland. And Joe, you've made your way down to victory lane, and you're joined by our winner of tonight's race, driver the number 21 machine, Nick Cohan.
Hey, Nick. Congratulations on the victory. Crazy race for you. You were kind of all over the place, kind of bumping into the walls, but you were always able to come right back up to the front. Uh, what was kind of like your game plan going into the race?
Um, it's tough to say because I really had none. Showed up late. Haven't played iRacing in quite a bit. I literally resubscribed 20 minutes before before qualifying. So it's I was a little rusty, and I think it showed the couple of times I hit the wall and was sliding around a lot tonight. But my goal for tonight was just to go out there and have fun, and I definitely accomplished that because yeah, it was a blast running the top up there, a couple inches from the wall, and um, there was a period in the race there where I typically the way I drive, I'm pretty patient and let the race come to me. But I was having so much fun on the outside that I was like, what the heck? Let's just run all the way up by the wall when I know this is not the right move. And it really wasn't. It just played out. I just got really lucky there with the yellows, and it kind of just put me in a good spot there for the end.
That definitely makes sense as we were watching, and I was like, oh, he seems to have found the line that he likes. And then every now and then I was like, or maybe he doesn't. And so I did have a question for you on that. I wanted to ask you if you liked the high line or the low line, but it kind of seemed like whatever line you felt in the moment.
Yeah, I really like dirt racing a lot, and I ran a lot of dirt racing over the past couple years, and you know, unfortunately, 90% of the time, the fastest way around the track on a lot of the dirt tracks is right up by the wall. So I've always liked running up top in general, and then with a lot of dirt racing and the way this car was driving tonight, we were even talking about it in our chat, kind of felt like we were driving a dirt late model, which ended up working out great for me because that was a ton of fun, and just something I'm pretty comfortable at. So every time we'd come down pit road, me and my teammates were checking our tire wear, and mine was blasted compared to everybody else's. I was like, yeah, the only way I'm gonna win this race is if it comes down to a little shootout at the end. Which when that yellow came out with about 11 to go, I was like, okay, maybe we got a shot at this thing. So I I really hope we put on a good race because with all the different tire strategies and felt like there were a lot of slide jobs there towards the end of the race. I think we put on a good show for everybody. So it was fun behind the wheel here. I hope everybody watching at home had a good time.
Definitely, it was a great race overall. Um, as always with you guys. You have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, just first off, thanks to Total Nonstop Racing for putting on this league and this series. Been Disney Motorsports has been a part of this league here on and off for a couple years, so we really enjoy it. It's a good group of guys, and everybody seems pretty respectful, so that's why we like to come back. Of course, all my teammates at Disney Motorsports, they weren't racing here tonight, I probably wouldn't be here. And obviously got to thank the power of this Ford Probe out here. This thing was lightning fast tonight.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations for the victory, and hopefully next week we get to talk to you again.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes. The best kind of insane, though. I'm Joe.